at 6.
On World News Tonight this Friday, the young Georgia boy who made jokes about killing. Were other signs missed? Cross country on vegetable oil. A serious effort to change what's in the crankcase. Technology on the cutting edge. 3, 2, 1, failure. A bad year for American rockets. And a landmark moment in American justice. The ultimate thrill kill in the century on Friday.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings.
Good evening. We begin in Conyers, Georgia again this evening, where we are all reminded that young would-be killers are not easily identifiable. The young man who set off on a shooting spree at his high school yesterday was apparently nothing at all like the young outcasts who committed the horror in Colorado. And so today, in a town not far from Atlanta, parents and school administrators and the boy's friends are all doing their postmortems on something they do not understand or may have missed. ABC's Aaron Hayes is there.
People here now believe there were warning signs. The boy had joked to friends about shooting people. And Trey Carver tells ABC News the boy brought a gun to school nearly a month ago, and Trey reported it.
He showed me a gun out of his book bag.
And what did you do?
I went to the office and said something about it, but they didn't do anything about it at the time. They just looked for him, and they never found him because he had left the school. And the next day, they searched him, and it wasn't on him.
I'm not sure what did happen.
School Superintendent Don Picchia told ABC News he is unaware of the incident, but he might never have been told.
But the parents would have been notified. The student would have been checked out from that standpoint, as well as the locker and book bag.
Would you be notified?
Would I be notified in a case that wasn't verifiable? No.
It makes me angry that something wasn't done then.
Trey's father thought authorities had followed through until Trey called him right after the shooting.
I answered the phone, talked to him. He said, that was the same kid that brought the gun to school. I said, you gotta be kidding me. He says, no.
Police won't say if they were aware of last month's incident because it is a juvenile matter. But we do know more about the circumstances of yesterday's shooting. The school security officer was not on duty when it happened, not scheduled to arrive until half an hour later. And the shooter, police now say, carried the two guns with him to school on the bus.
Basically had the weapon down inside, at least the rifle down in the pants leg of his blue jeans, and he had on the baggy blue jeans that most of our children are wearing today.
Which, as this police training video shows, can easily conceal a variety of weapons. Children who rode the bus with the boy did not see the guns.
I didn't notice any bulges or anything in it. Like a gun or something. I just picture me, him, my brother, and my little sister standing at the bus stop with him, and if they said something flew up to him there, he could have just taken it out and shot him there.
Authorities realize they are, to a great extent, lucky it was not much worse here. They are now investigating not just the shooter's actions leading up to this, but their own. Aaron Hayes, ABC News, Conyers, Georgia.
There are a lot of people in the country who have been moved by these and the previous shootings to ask whether they might have done or might do something different. There's a lot of talk about whether television, which is prone to repeat the most dramatic pictures, contributes to an unstable environment. Our religion editor, Peggy Waymeyer, reports tonight on a television station in Meridian, Mississippi, which thinks that it can do a better job.
This is 2430 News at 10.
Good evening and thanks for joining us.
Like most television stations across the United States, WMDN-TV has aired countless reports on ethnic cleansing in Kosovo, tornado victims in Oklahoma, and the massacre at Columbine High School. The news hit close to home in Meridian when copycat bomb threats shut down local schools. Station manager Mark Grossman began to wonder if his news broadcast had become part of the problem.
You think, has the world gone crazy? Is there something out there just going on that we're partly responsible for?
And was there something he could do to soften the impact of so much violence and bad news? Last week, the station broadcast its answer.
And before we go tonight, we leave you with Keep the Faith.
Will you join me in a very simple prayer? Heavenly Father.
Now, on every 10 o'clock newscast at WMDN, they close with a 90-second commentary and prayer from a local clergy member.
Not only do we do news, weather, and sports, but we give a moment of opportunity for introspection, reflection, and say a little prayer.
The residents of Meridian have overwhelmingly supported their station's decision to run a prayer. In fact, there hasn't been one complaint. At the century-old Weidman's Cafe, everyone who had heard the news echoed the words of Billy Joe Price.
I think we need to turn around and go back to the basic morals, and I think this is a step to that.
Remember, the Lord is my light.
Pastor Charles Johnson says prayer has been removed from public life for too long.
Because everybody watches the news, but then at the end, to help to soften something that has gone on, the children, adults, and all can see that there is a God still that cares and that is concerned.
A reassuring thought deep in the heart of the Bible Belt. With nearly 300 churches in this county alone, there will be no shortage of ministers.
Amen and amen.
To close the newscast, Peggy Waymeyer, ABC News, Meridian, Mississippi.
Here's another example of how people are reacting to the spate of shootings. In Westport, Connecticut, as at a lot of other high schools, there's an end-of-school ritual involving toy guns. This year, this particular graduating tradition has a shadow over it. Here's ABC's Aaron Brown.
They showed us how they play the game. Over the next 2 weeks, 36 of the best academic students in Westport will stalk each other, surprise each other, and with a Nerf gun shoot each other until only one is left. They've played the game for 17 years, a spring rite that seems different now.
I wish I could just go about my senior year like all other people could and play this game. I wish the game didn't have the connotation that it now does.
It started with a movie. The 1982 film had college students running around with toy guns, and movies being movies, all was fun until one kid started using real bullets. It was adopted without the bullets by students in dozens of high schools and colleges around the country, but in many of those places this year, questions are being asked.
You know, what message does it send to the people in Colorado? You're thousands of miles away, so we're not going to care?
But the players say it's just a game.
Remind me again what the name of the game was.
The name of the game was AP Assassination.
They took assassination out of the name this year, but the game's the same, the sneaking around, the hiding under cars and bushes, ritualized tag with a Nerf gun, a tradition they've waited years for.
I don't understand why we would have to change our entire lives and our activities and how we have fun based upon what, you know, these two monsters have done.
When you grow up, sometimes you can't have all the fun. You know, sometimes you just have to step back and look at the situation as a whole and say, this is not right.
To many in this town, a town not unlike Conyers or Littleton, and a school not unlike Heritage or Columbine, this annual rite of spring, these days at least, raises questions not easily answered. Aaron Brown, ABC News, Westport, Connecticut.
Just one program note about guns. Later this evening on 2020, a frightening demonstration of how very young children manage to get at guns which their parents think they have locked up or hidden away. Great surprise. When we come back, some of the other news today: lubricating the engine with vegetable oil, technology on the cutting edge, and a critical moment in space. Time for the U.S. to perform.
This is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings. Brought to you by Nicoderm CQ.
Look, I'll make you a deal. If you quit, I quit.
Okay, Daddy. I just quit. Deal?
Nicoderm CQ.
I know you're not big on help in general.
If you're serious, you don't need help.
When I got serious, I realized I do need it.
CQ gives you a 24-hour stream of medicine that's with you whenever cravings come, even when you first wake up. Nicoderm CQ.
Hey, a deal.
It's a deal.
Quit for World No Tobacco Day, May 31st.
The San Ramos Hotel. Embrace the elegance. Experience the luxury. Savor the beauty. Dodge the debris. Seems the hotel isn't sturdy enough to handle a sudden tremor. Who could have helped?
Aon finds the solutions to ensure your vision.
Is it the thick, rich chocolate flavor? Is it the soft, luscious cherry flavor? Or the way it yields to the gentlest bite? Or is it the fact that 500 milligrams of bone-strengthening calcium doesn't come in a big, honking horse pill? Calburst from Nature Made. Have some pleasure with your calcium.
Sorry. Lot's full.
Oh, what about those spaces?
They're reserved for cars with advanced integrated driving systems.
What?
See that Seville? It's got the North Star system. So much control, it can almost read your thoughts. Can you read my thoughts?
You're telling me I can't park here?
You're a very perceptive man.
Seville with the North Star system. Now just $549 a month. Seville, it's what's next.
There are meters out front.
In cutting-edge technology, it may be the cleaner way, a lesson for Washington today. About a third of the 5 million tons of lubricants used in the United States every year, most of it ends up as toxic waste or smog. Vegetable oil, on the other hand, doesn't pollute. Here's ABC's Jack Smith.
Arriving in Washington, the trucks took 18 days to cross America, one of them using vegetable oil.
This stuff will lubricate your engine?
Yes, it's a complete replacement for petroleum motor oil.
Researchers have spent the last 6 years developing what they hope will be a breakthrough.
One of the advantages of this new oil is this. It's not toxic, and that makes disposal a lot cheaper and safer. Spill regular engine oil and you get a toxic dump. Spill this and it biodegrades into carbon dioxide and water in 4 weeks' time, naturally.
Other benefits. When the vegetable oil is burned during combustion, it burns cleaner. Tests show up to 40% less emissions. They also show better fuel economy, as much as 4% better, because the engine doesn't have to work as hard.
It's a better lubricant. It reduces wear. It makes your engine slipperier inside.
But don't use the oil from your kitchen cupboard. Vegetable oils normally gum up engines. This new one, made from a canola, soy, or sunflower base, is specially treated so it won't gum up. For a month now, the Postal Service in Michigan has been trying out the new oil in its trucks, and results so far look good.
It does seem to be burning cleaner. We can tell just by the smell.
When it goes on the market later this year, it will cost 1/3 more than regular oil. But if the claims about its performance are accurate, in the long run, it will save money. Jack Smith, ABC News, Colorado Springs, Colorado.
On the money tonight, a revitalized Mazda. For the first time in 6 years, the Japanese car maker reports a profit. The turnaround has been led by executives put in place by Ford, which bought a third of Mazda last year. The news was not so good at Nissan, which has just reported its 6th loss in 7 years. On Wall Street today, the Dow Jones Industrial Average was down more than 37 points to close at 10,829. On the NASDAQ, stocks were down just about 22 points. And finally, the market research firm Data Monitor reports that nearly $1 billion was spent last year for access to websites containing adult content. In other words, sex continues to be one of the biggest sellers on the internet. In Little Rock today, the president's friend Charlie Tree pleaded guilty to 2 charges stemming from illegal fundraising, and he agreed to cooperate with prosecutors investigating fundraising in the 1996 elections. In a moment, the sorry satellite record.
Now that we have a plan.
What can we afford?
If I retire at, say, 65.
Sorry. No, 55. That's all right. Oh, 62.
Now, if Kevin goes Ivy League, let's go to junior college.
Honey, if he gets into an Ivy League, he's going Ivy League.
You're right. Okay.
I don't know. Let's see it again. And buying the vineyard in Tuscany. Ooh. Vacation in Tuscany.
Yeah. That's nice.
I like that.
No matter what you want to achieve, we can help. Ask Merrill Lynch.
I'm at the Conways' home where we're about to put new DuPont Stainmaster carpet to the test with racing champion Jeff Gordon.
Oh, man.
Okay, so Jeff was a little too much for the carpet. But for ordinary traffic in your home, nothing performs better than DuPont Stainmaster. Right now, save big during the Stainmaster Savings 500 sweepstakes. You could even win a Corvette. Race in now to a participating carpet retailer.
her senses.
Need any help? Absolutely fine, thank you.
Are you lost?
Grazie. Where is Cafe Verita?
It's right there.
Ah. Hey, please, you join me.
Is this Italian?
The best.
Ecco domani. What does that mean?
Not a clue.
Ecco domani. It means Italian.
From NATO headquarters today, an apology to several countries whose diplomatic facilities in Belgrade have been bombed in the past 2 days. A fuel depot was hit just 300 yards away from the Swiss ambassador's residence last night, blowing out the windows. Embassies of several other countries were also damaged, albeit slightly. ABC News has learned that since the bombing of the Chinese embassy in Belgrade 2 weeks ago, NATO has been redoing its maps of Belgrade, marking the location of foreign embassies, but it seems to be a work in progress. At Vandenberg Air Force Base in California tonight, you would not be surprised to find people with their fingers crossed. Tomorrow morning, they intend to launch a Titan IV rocket, which will be carrying a military satellite. And in the last several months, there has been an uncomfortable number of launch failures for the United States. Here's ABC's Ned Potter.
It is not for nothing that they call it rocket science. And once again, it's proving to be very tough. Titans, Deltas, Athenas, 6 failures in 6 tries now.
We have lost the signal from the data from the Delta III.
And what's more, the accidents seem to have nothing in common.
If there were one reason for these failures, it would be relatively easy to fix it.
Leave aside for the moment that the Air Force has lost $3.5 billion in spy satellites, or that commercial satellite owners have made insurance claims for another $2 billion. A bigger issue is that the U.S. could lose out at a critical moment in the history of the space age.
We seem to be having this difficulty in reliability. This does not bode well for the U.S. launch market.
Market, indeed. Space has changed from a distant frontier to a booming business. Satellites for telephone, TV, and data transmission brought in some $95 billion last year, and the number is climbing.
We're launching a lot more than we ever did in the past at a rate that's based on what the market is demanding.
4, 3.
But some of that demand threatens to go overseas.
And we have liftoff.
In the mid-'80s, the U.S. launched 75% of the world's commercial satellites. Now it's 45%. Commercial satellite makers routinely use Chinese, Russian, or European launchers, which may not be more reliable, but are often less expensive.
4, 3.
So the pressure is on to keep costs down, and some engineers wonder if that's adding to the launch difficulties. If companies cut the payroll and cut down on the steps it takes to get a rocket to the pad, do they pay for that with lost liftoffs?
Maybe there's a quality control problem in one particular factory. Maybe it's a matter of just trying to switch over to new kinds of rockets.
Tonight, with another Titan waiting to launch, a lot of rocket scientists are nervous. Ned Potter, ABC News, New York.
Overseas again, in the Indonesian capital of Jakarta today, about 2,000 students got into a fight with riot police. This was the day, a year ago, that President Suharto was forced to resign. Now the students want him tried for corruption. Much of the Suharto regime is still in place, and many Indonesians believe that corruption and nepotism are as rampant as ever. A luxury cruise liner caught fire and sank off the coast of Malaysia overnight. This is amateur video. You can see the passengers getting into lifeboats once settled. In the end, all 1,100 people on board the ship actually made it to safety. In a moment, the century on Friday.
Here you have the sons of 2 of the wealthiest families in Chicago committing a brutal, brutal murder. They felt they were so smart they could concoct and commit the perfect crime.
The perfect murder, another trial of the century.
I'm 64. Is there anything I can do to stop bone loss?
Absolutely. Here's proof. In a landmark clinical study, Caltrate actually stopped bone loss in women at risk for osteoporosis, whatever your age.
It's never too late for Caltrate.
You know, the rain leaves a scent that makes things fresh and new. Introducing Fresh Rain All. It has the stain-lifting power of regular all with a clean, fresh rain scent. That's Fresh Rain, A-L-L.
The answer lies out there, Watson. On the Moores homes? In front of the homes, Watson. Homes? That's right, Watson. Nobody in the world sells more real estate than RE/MAX.
RE/MAX, the real estate leaders.
It's time. Time for your heartburn to kick in because your heartburn relief gave out. It happens 2 or more days a week, even though you've treated it and changed your diet. That frequent, persistent heartburn may be due to acid reflux disease, potentially serious.
It's Prilosec time. Time to see your doctor about prescription Prilosec. Your results may vary, but for many people, Prilosec provides 24 hours of complete heartburn relief with 1 daily dose. Ask your doctor for more information about Prilosec and if it's right for you. The most common side effects are headache, diarrhea, and abdominal pain. 24 hours of complete heartburn relief is possible. It's Prilosec time.
Even though you might not know Delphi Automotive Systems, we're probably in your garage right now. You see, chances are we're in your vehicles, having developed the first car radio and production airbag, not to mention the future innovations that will revolutionize the way you drive. With 36 countries and growing, we're practically everywhere. Even though you may not see us. Delphi Automotive Systems, driving tomorrow's technology.
Do you use the same corn pads your grandmother used? Well, there's a breakthrough. Band-Aid brand corn relief cushions. It covers the whole corn, relieving the awful, painful pressure. Plus, it's more comfortable than your old pad, and it stays in place better. After all, it's from Band-Aid brand.
Band-Aid brand cushions for feet. A breakthrough in corn pain relief.
For blister prevention, calluses, and bunions, try the line of Band-Aid brand cushions for feet.
Tonight, you warn your kids about the dangers of guns, but do they listen? Our hidden camera experiment with toddlers will stun you. 3-year-olds finding guns, pulling the trigger. Kids and Guns, a chilling Diane Sawyer investigation on 2020 tonight.
Finally from us, the century on Friday. Why? Why is it, we ask again and again, that certain children are compelled to kill? The list of children in places grows longer. It's been a difficult issue for a very long time. 75 years ago today, in Chicago, May the 21st, 1924, 2 young men committed murder for the thrill of it. One of those crimes of the century. Tonight, Leopold and Loeb, who wanted to commit the perfect murder.
They felt that they were so smart that they could actually commit any crime they wanted and get away with it.
In Chicago, 1924, in the midst of Prohibition, when the city was ruled by gangsters, Nathan Leopold and Richard Loeb decided to commit the perfect crime for the sheer thrill of it.
Here you have the sons of 2 of the wealthiest families in Chicago committing a brutal, brutal murder. There was a tremendous amount of interest in this particular case.
Leopold and Loeb had it all. They were rich. Leopold was considered a genius. He spoke several languages and was an accomplished student of rare birds. This is a rare piece of film showing Leopold and other researchers at work. Richard Loeb was also brilliant. He was the youngest graduate ever in the history of the University of Michigan. They were, these 2 boys, deeply attracted to each other, and so convinced of their intellectual superiority that they thought they could get away with anything. After a string of petty crimes, they planned the perfect crime, the ultimate thrill. They decided to kidnap and murder Armand Deutsch, the son of a wealthy neighbor.
I followed the same route walking home from school every day. They knew it. The only reason that I was saved is because that day I had a dentist appointment.
And so Loeb and Leopold went looking for another victim. they decided on another son of privilege, 14-year-old Bobby Franks.
They lured him into the car. He was hit from behind by Richard Loeb, murdered. The body was then taken to the Indiana state line, dumped in a culvert.
The killers demanded a $10,000 ransom from Bobby Franks' parents, but the body was found almost immediately, and the perfect crime began to unravel. Leopold had accidentally dropped his glasses next to the body. The glasses had a rare hinge, and within no time, Chicago police were at his door. Loeb was very quickly implicated. Their alibis fell apart, and they both confessed. The public was outraged. How could two young men, 18 and 19, who had everything, do such evil?
There was a very strong homoerotic element to the relationship between Leopold and Loeb. This crime was really designed to bring them closer together.
The famous Chicago lawyer, Clarence Darrow, was hired by the boys' parents to defend them.
600 reporters came to the trial, and there was actually even a move to move it into an outdoor arena where thousands could watch it.
In court, Darrow fought for their lives. He admitted their guilt and then argued diminished responsibility. He brought in psychiatrists who said that Leopold and Loeb were not evil, but sick and curable. In an 11-hour summation which reduced the judge to tears, Darrow pled for life in prison. In the movie Compulsion, Orson Welles played Darrow.
They say you can only get justice by shedding their last drop of blood. Isn't a lifetime behind prison bars enough for this mad act? And must this great public be regaled with a hanging? For God's sake, are we crazy?
Leopold and Loeb got life in prison. Loeb was murdered there for making a homosexual advance on another inmate. But Leopold was a model prisoner. He became an expert on tropical medicine.
In a way, he vindicated Darrow's defense.
Nathan Leopold was paroled in 1958. On our website, thecentury.com, there's more about Leopold and Loeb and some of the other trials of the century, as they are so often called. That is our report on World News Tonight. Don't forget 2020 later. And on Nightline this evening, a look at America's oldest guitar company. I'm Peter Jennings. We hope you have a good weekend. Good night.
Sunday on This Week with Sam Donaldson and Cokie Roberts.
Hillary Clinton's Senate plans, gun control, and more reports of Chinese spying. ABC Sunday.
This has been a presentation of ABC News. More Americans get their news from ABC News than from any other source. ABCNews.com, now a part of the Go Network.
ABC's Cleopatra is being called the most entertaining big-ticket event of the month.
I am a goddess.
Leonore Varela sets the screen aboil with Titanic's Billy Zane.
I give myself to you, my queen.
A lusty, tasty treat from start to finish that People magazine proclaims is too big to miss. Cleopatra, Sunday on ABC.
Now, News 2 at 6. First, fast, accurate.